I have a confession to make. I am sick to death of people telling me that I need to get rid of all of my stuff. My daughters think I should downsize everything, but here's the thing. Their priorities aren't my priorities. They think I have too much stuff because they have more of a minimalistic mindset, but I am more sentimental for one thing, and just overall love stuff for another. I love clothes, I love furniture and decorating items, even to the point that I used to have a clothing and furniture resale stores. I also love music and books. I have a record collection that I started when I was just a teenager, and I am old school. I still listen to my records and all my many CDs. Decluttering and minimalistic videos are the thing today, and there are about 1,000,001 channels and content creators that deal with this topic. Obviously, too much stuff is a problem for a lot of people. I did originally start going down that rabbit hole, but I am now at a place where I cannot bear another declutter video. I like my stuff and I have no intention of getting rid of all of it. I don't want an empty minimalistic home. Apparently today, that is not okay. It almost seems taboo. Yes, I know that we can't take it with us, but guess what? I'm not going anywhere, at least not right now. At least I don't plan on it. I'm living, breathing, and enjoying my life here on this earth, surrounded by the things that bring me joy and give me comfort. These items aren't just stuff. They're memories, stories, little pieces of my journey. I have lots of things that I have collected on my journey through life, and lots of stuff that was handed down from relatives. I am super sentimental, so all of it means something to me. To be honest, when I walk through my house, it's almost like walking around a museum of my life and of my past and all those that came before me. It is a reflection of who I am and where I came from. And I know it's just stuff, but I love to be surrounded by it because it represents my life and all that I have lived through, and it represents love. That's kind of how I see it. Every time I pull a dish out from the cupboard, it makes me think of my grandma. And each time I pull a book from my bookshelves, I think of my uncle. Because everything is energy, some people say that it is a no-no to keep items from other people because of the possible negative energy that it contains. And they also say that if it's something from your past, it's something you should also get rid of so that you can make a space to move forward. I agree that you shouldn't get stuck in your past. And if you save an overabundance of crap from your past, maybe take a look at it and get rid of some of it and keep only one or two things from a particular event or time in your life if it brings you good memories. You do always want to keep moving forward and not stay stuck in your past. I try to keep the items that remind me of a lesson learned or happy times or love that I felt. And I cherish the items that I got from my relatives, now long gone, because it keeps their love with me every day. But if an item brings up negative emotions, I get rid of it. I don't want to be thinking of anything negative on a daily basis, or really at all. But the stuff I have gives me good vibes. Plus, I sage my house on a regular basis, so I think the energy is always pretty clean and good. No, I get it. There's the whole death cleaning perspective. You don't want to save all this stuff for your kids to sort through. But dare I say, why not? My mom's decided that's exactly what she's doing, and honestly, I think it kind of makes sense. Now hear me out. Having helped clean out estates of loved ones, I've realized it's more than a chore. It's kind of part of the grieving process. It brings siblings together and sparks some memories and helps you feel closer to the person that you've lost. And no matter how minimalistic you are, you're still going to have lots of stuff left at the end of your life anyway. Now, having said that, you don't want to be a hoarder and leave a house and a barn and 3 storage units filled with crap for your kids to have to go through. That, I feel, would be unfair and so overwhelming for anyone. I have known a friend who had to do this, and I have an ex-husband and a sister-in-law who are now looking at having to do this in their future. And that's not fun, but hoarding's one thing. That is a disease. I don't feel I'm a hoarder, and my mom is not a hoarder. She tries to clean out cupboards and get rid of stuff here and there, and I'm always trying to get rid of stuff. But regardless of how much I get rid of, there's going to be a lot of stuff for my kids to deal with. Here's the thing. While it's difficult and gut-wrenching at times for me to let go of some of my belongings, my kids don't have any sentimental attachment to any of it. So it will be much easier for them to let it go. They may take a few items to remember their mom, and they may take a few things that I've kept from other relatives, maybe from their grandma or their aunt or something. My daughter actually just took something from my china cabinet, a candelabra that was a wedding present for my grandma, who has been gone now for 50 years. And she put it on her mantle, and it looks so beautiful there. So they will take a few sentimental things, I'm sure, but the rest will be sold, donated, and trashed. And during the process, they will be kidding about what a hoarder their mom was, all the while remembering and commiserating and crying and laughing and getting closer as sisters. I know that is what I did with my brothers and sister-in-laws while we cleaned out my aunt's estate and then again my uncle's estate. Yes, both were big jobs, and it was a lot of work, but it was also really quality time spent together. Having said that, we're a super close family, and everyone pitches in. So it may not have been that wonderful if I did it by myself, or if your family is not as close. But I still think it would be worthwhile. Anyway, I guess you have to judge based on how close your family is and what you think your experience would be. Definitely a personal situation. Anyway, I love my home to be filled with things that matter to me, that give me a sense of my past and where I come from. It fills me with joy and makes me feel safe and secure in a world that feels not so safe and secure. I make room for what matters to me both physically and emotionally. But on the other hand, I also do not want a cluttered home. I like to keep things organized, and I have to have a space that feels peaceful. And also, I don't want to constantly be managing my stuff. So a balance is really necessary. So while I do believe in a decluttered home, I don't feel that a decluttered home has to mean an empty home. To me, it means a home filled with things that still spark joy and reflect who you are, but is still aesthetically pleasing. So with all this in mind, I wanted to review some different ways to declutter. I think this is as personal a choice as what you keep in your home. Not every method will work for every person, and you have to find a decluttering method that will work for you. Like I said earlier, there are a million content creators who deal with this topic, and I feel like I have watched them all. And because I have, I can narrow down all of the information to 10 of the most popular ways you could go about this. So here we go. Get rid of one item a day. My sister-in-law does this and has been doing this for years. Considering we're always bringing stuff into our homes, this is one way to keep a balance. From the Minimalist channel, their method is progressive decluttering over 1 month. So on day 1, you get rid of 1 thing. On day 2, get rid of 2 things. On day 3, get rid of 3 things, and so on. You get the idea. At the end of the month, if you follow this protocol perfectly, you will have gotten rid of 465 items. I started it, but I only made it through a week or so. Clearly not the method for me. The 30-10 rule. Set a timer and declutter for 10 minutes a day for 30 days. This is kind of how I declutter, although I don't do it every day, so I can't say that I actually follow this method, but I will say that it is amazing how much you can actually accomplish in 10 minutes. Seasonal decluttering. This is decluttering as you pull out and put away seasonal items like spring and winter clothing, Christmas items, things like that. Swedish Death Cleaning. The goal of this method is to make it easier for your loved ones to go through your stuff after you pass away. You keep only what is necessary and meaningful. And a 3-color sticker system is used to identify what you want to get rid of, what you want to keep, and what you are unsure about. The KonMari method. This is the most popular method, I think. It's the one that I think may have brought this topic of decluttering to the masses, and one in which you only keep the items that spark joy. The 4-box method, where you grab 4 boxes and label them keep, donate, recycle, and trash. And then you go through a room and divide your items in between those 4 boxes. The 12-12-12 challenge from Joshua Becker of the Becoming Minimalist channel, who instructs you to simply walk around a room and identify 12 items to toss, 12 to donate, and 12 that need to be returned to their proper places. Hushing the House from my Quillen Smith of the Nester Decluttering blog, who advises to take all of the clutter and put it into one room. That way you can live in a clean space and determine what you really need and what you don't. And you only bring back into the room the items that you absolutely need. The move out method from the book Embrace Your Space by author Katie Holdafair, who suggests that you pretend that you are moving. You basically remove everything from the space and only put back what you would put in your new house if you were just moving in. Okay, so that was 10 different methods, and I have only scratched the surface. But having said that, they all have this very similar components and are all just variations of the same thing, really. A couple of little things that work for me. Take the items out of the closet that you have actually worn in the last month or so. Pack up the rest of it into bins and put it in the basement or wherever you can. And see what, if anything, you actually go looking for. I have a real problem with clothes. I can see from my weekly laundry that what I wear are sweats, jeans, and sweaters. And yet I have a closet full of cute dresses and blouses and pants, all kinds of wonderful clothing that I wore in my previous life. And yet I can't seem to let them go. I still live in a fantasy world in which I am wearing these items when in reality I really don't ever leave the house except to go to the store or take care of my grandkids and occasionally visit a friend. So obviously, although I have listened to and watched about 101,000 decluttering videos, it hasn't really helped that much. Maybe that's why I am kind of over it. Anyway, for those it may help, another popular thing that I found is to turn all your hangers the opposite way, and then when you pull something out to wear it, put it back the right way. After a few months, you can easily see what you haven't worn and what you do wear, and decide if what you haven't worn needs to go. Also, once a week or so, I take a drawer or a closet or a bin and go through it and get rid of anything that I don't think I'm going to use. I have a box always ready for donations, and when the box is full, I put it in the back of my car and drop it off at the Salvation Army or other charity shop as I pass by. Other than clothes, one of the most difficult areas for me were the boxes and bins of photos, photo albums, and my kids' schoolwork and artwork and memorabilia. I did make headway with this area. what I ended up doing is going through all of the boxes of schoolwork and memorabilia, and I took photos of everything. I then threw it all out. I bought myself a scanner off of Amazon. I think it was less than $50, and it works great. And I scanned all of the zillions of photos that I had. I then transferred all of this onto thumb drives for safekeeping. And another tip, I did duplicates of the thumb drives just in case one went bad. I am now in the process of doing Shutterfly photo books with the very best pictures and the times that I really want to remember and look back on. I think the photo books are the books that will get handed down, these Shutterfly books. And moving forward with the millions of photos I have of my grandchildren and all of the artwork that they make for me, I am doing the very same thing. The artwork goes up on the fridge for display for a week or so, and then I take a picture of it, throw it away, and maybe later I'll make a Shutterfly book of it. Another thing that I wanted to include in this video that I think may be helpful are some questions that you can ask yourself as you're going through all your stuff and trying to determine what to keep and what to give away, etc. Here are 10 of what I think are the best questions. Does this spark joy? If the answer is anything other than yes, declutter it. Would I buy this item today? If I was in a store and this was on the shelf, would I buy it? Have I used this item in the last 365 days? Could I replace this item easily if I needed to in the future? And for how much? Am I keeping something out of guilt, fear, or obligation? Do you think this represents me now, or is it a fantasy or past self, like clothes, books, craft supplies, cooking stuff, etc.? Do I have something similar that does the same job? Am I keeping this item just in case? What value does this bring to my life? And the last one, is it damaged, broken, or does it give me negative feelings of any kind? And of course, there are lots of other questions that may work for you, but I think these are some good ones to get started with. Okay, so you know how I feel about living in a minimalistic home. But how do you feel? Do you love your stuff, or are you on the minimalistic road? Are you trying to declutter? And if so, how is it going and what methods are you using? I will list some of my favorite decluttering videos in the description box below. And when I say favorite channels, I mean the ones that I found the most helpful when I was going down that road. And I think the ones that bring the most value. And please, if you have any great advice or information that has helped you, that you think would help others, please let us all know in the comments below. I hope that helps. I'll see you soon.